The Stonelick Covered Bridge is located on Stonelick-Williams Corner Road in Clermont County, Ohio, crossing the Stonelick Creek. The one-lane covered bridge was built in 1878. It is 140 feet long and supported using a 12-panel Howe truss. It was once one of 25 covered bridges in Clermont County. The bridge was added to the National Register on September 10, 1974, being the last surviving covered bridge in Clermont County. For 120 years, this one-lane bridge has charmed local residents as a treasured symbol of years past, while also serving as a necessary transportation connection in the county.
The bridge is a historical landmark to Clermont County, and it's our last one. I think everybody in Clermont County's got some kind of little story about it. I mean, you can have 50 to 60-year-old people that their parents brought them there when they was a kid. I mean, it's not something you see every day. And you bring back memories to people like that. It's always just it's got a spot in your heart. They all got a memory of going across that covered bridge, or they can tell you a story.
There's not many wooden covered bridges in the country left. The least of which, this one's it's pretty unique in terms of how long it's 140 feet long. And if you're out there and you stand and you're on one end and you look down through the bridge, it's pretty impressive that, you think, gosh, this thing was designed and built decades ago, and the design is still appropriate and it can handle the traffic that needs to be on that road. It's really kind of an engineering marvel, really.
The historic bridge faced many adversities throughout the years.
There's some minor incidents, a couple minor accidents that caused some damage. There were couple arson attempts. Really, it wasn't until probably the 90s when the first major incident happened, which was when the garbage truck went through the floor and actually down into the creek. It didn't bring the whole bridge down, but it certainly crippled the bridge, and so repairs were made and reopened to traffic there in the early 90s. So really from the last 10-15 years is when we saw a lot of the age catch up with the bridge. The deterioration really it increased rapidly. It got to a point where we had to reduce the load limit down to 3 tons, which is the minimum. And then we started in this public involvement plan of a restoration project.
After the Clermont County Engineer's Office raised most of the funds for reconstruction through grants, work on the bridge began in October 2013.
Yeah, we were well into the design or the redesign and the rehabilitation process. We were using federal funds, so we were well into that process of moving towards a rehabilitation of the covered bridge when a garbage truck overloaded, of course, because at the time the bridge was posted 3 tons, and a garbage truck went over the bridge and just did a significant amount of damage to the floor beams, cracked almost every one of the floor beams. As a matter of fact, I don't know how the bridge didn't come down. It was no short of a miracle that the bridge, not because the truck not only went over it, but it came back, so it went over it twice. So once we became aware of the overload situation, we went out and we inspected it, and the damage was significant, and we had no choice but to close the bridge. The real problem is by time we could have made some repairs to the bridge, but the repair would have taken us up to the point when we were going to close it for the rehab project. We started on the rehab project, and in the collapse. So wow, yeah, that was a big day. That was a big day. We first of all, we were very fortunate that no one was killed, because it was a very serious and significant construction accident, which is what ended up happening. I think everybody was asking, the obvious questions. First and foremost, did anybody get hurt? Fortunately, nobody got hurt or killed, and that was was obviously paramount on my mind, because there was 4 people on the bridge at the time when it collapsed.
We started construction, had the siding off, had it kind of stripped down to what I would call the skeleton. Floor joists were removed, floor was removed. February 11th, 2014. We come back from lunch, didn't have any equipment running. I was out there with 3 other guys, heard some noise from scaffolding rattling down on the end. Looked over, looked up, the bridge is coming at us. We ran, hollered, screamed, ran. All of us made it out safe. Nobody was hurt.
So once we sort of caught our breath and realized that no one was injured or killed, then we went to work on okay, what do we do now? What's the next step? So again, our original plan was to surgically, replace certain pieces and add and reinforce certain areas of the bridge. So that plan went out the window, and we had to come up with a new plan. And so the new plan was, let's basically we disassembled the entire bridge, and we unconnected every piece, we pulled it apart, and we inspected every piece of wood.
We labeled every member before disassembly. They were all stacked. Ron Maddox, which is a covered bridge expert, was able to grade all of our timbers. He come out, worked with us, checked every timber on that bridge to see what we were going to be able to reuse, what we couldn't.
We were able to find, or did find, some deteriorated wood that we were not originally going to replace. So kind of the bad news was we had this nearly catastrophic event. The good news is at the end of the day we have just a tremendous product because we were able to replace some pieces that we weren't originally going to replace. The overall integrity of the bridge is it just couldn't be higher.
With the collapse, it's got every little bit of rock out of the bridge. So it's stronger than the day it was originally built in 1878, with everything that we did to help beef it up. The roof, we lost our rafters in the collapse. We put new rafters on. Cedar shakes weigh a lot more than metal roof, so we were able to add what they call collar ties to our rafters, which would help distribute the load of the cedar shakes versus metal roof. We added wind bracing, giving us a better product.
On April 15th, 2015, a much stronger Stonelick Covered Bridge, which retained its original Howe truss design, was reopened to traffic. The bridge, which cost approximately $900,000 to restore, can now handle 8 tons of weight compared to the original 3 tons. The bridge is one of 140 covered bridges existing in Ohio. It will continue to be a treasured part of history in Clermont County, Ohio.